രോഗത്തെ അറിയുന്ന ഡോക്ടറാകാൻ നിങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറാണോ? ഉടൻ തന്നെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യൂ ശാന്തിഗിരി മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജ്.
എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗുകാർക്ക് എൻട്രിയിൽ ടെക്നിക്കൽ കോഴ്സുകളുമുണ്ട്.
It's truly a story of a man from Kerala, raised in Bangalore, served in Hyderabad, served in Kashmir, served in Haryana, became Amar in Mumbai. It's truly an all-Indian story about an all-Indian man. You know, his final words, right? Don't come up, I'll handle them. It's not just words that was said, I believe, in the spur of the moment. I believe it's a way of looking at life. He always looked at life from a place of, let me take care of the safety of others first, the well-being of others first, and then myself. We shot it in Hindi as well, proper every shot. And we were very careful in how we are dubbing it into Malayalam. We don't want it to just be a dubbing film. It's so important that we do justice to Major Sandeep's life story. It might be strange for people to hear, but he's sort of like the freedom fighter of today, of our generation. So there's a famous school in Hyderabad called Chirek. The children have a chapter on Major Sandeep. It's not about how he died, it's about how he lived. So Major is a very hopeful film. It made me feel very hopeful. It made me want to do something for India. Amma said that, "Dur se Sandeep lag raha hai." You know, she actually said that.
സുഖമാണോ?
സുഖമാണോ?
ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചോ? ഇന്ന് ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചോ?
ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചോ?
ഓ മോനെ ദിനേശ.
ഓ മോനെ. I might have an angelic face, but I don't have angelic pronunciation, so you can.
Hello, hi everybody. This is the most interesting interview I would have done so far, because I've heard about you to be a person who has very angelic face.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, it is pretty angelic to look at also.
I thank you for such kind words.
Advishesh, welcome to Behindwoods, and thank you so much for being a part of my chat show.
Thank you for having me, and vanakkam.
Namaskaram, that's what we say in Malayalam.
Okay, well, namaskaram only, bonnara.
No, I absolutely don't understand Telugu.
Well, so I can do Telugu, Hindi, English, little bit of Tamil. Any words used by Major Sandeep's family, I can say those Malayalam words.
Yes, we are actually here as a part of your next movie promotion, Major. And the best part of this movie is actually based out on a real life character that was a very heroic person whose family is from Kozhikode. You know, the top.
It is the story inspired by the life of Major Sandeep Unikrishna. They are from Kozhikode, and in fact, uncle and auntie are there right now for a wedding. It's truly a story of a man from Kerala, raised in Bangalore, served in Hyderabad, served in Kashmir, served in Haryana, and became Amar in Mumbai. So it is truly an all-Indian, in 2008. It is truly an all-Indian story about an all-Indian man.
Yeah, that is in fact that particular situation back in 2008. I think I was in college by then. Yeah, it was scary, and to be a part of that team, and you know, I read about the very last thing he said to his team. Don't worry, I will handle this. You know, even being in a situation to take up that much of courage to tell his team that, you know what, I'll take care of the situation, is very heroic.
Yeah, in fact, you know, his final words, right? Don't come up, I'll handle them. It's not just words that was said, I believe, in the spur of the moment. I believe it's a way of looking at life.
Yeah.
When I researched his life, spent countless hours with his family, I understood that he always looked at life from a place of, let me take care of the safety of others first, the well-being of others first, and then myself.
How did you stumble upon this particular story, and how did you feel like that you want to make this into a movie?
You know, like all us patriotic Indians, when I saw it on TV, I was glued, and for 2 days I had tears in my eyes, and I didn't understand what was going on. Suddenly on the 27th, a photograph of Major Sandeep, that passport photograph, came up on the TV, and I immediately looked at him and I said, who is this man who looks like he could be my older brother?
Yes, there is a lot of similarities between your features, you know?
Yeah, so many of my older cousins are like carbon copies of it. I'm still a little different from him, but my cousins and all, that's exact copies. So I was like, who is this man, who looks exactly like he's my family? So I got, and they said that he was a national security guard commando, and that's the elite of the elite. So I'm wondering, who is this man who saved so many people? How did he pass? So it started with that interest, like, who is this person that is starting to inspire me? From there, I think I became an admirer. And from there, I became a fan. And once I became an actor, I believed that his life story, how he lived, was so much more beautiful than how he died. I wanted for audiences across India to know the story. So I'm a Telugu actor, and we wanted to make it in Hindi because he's a national figure. But then I realized that it is so important for the Kerala audience to see, the sun from God's own country. And so we decided to dub it into Malayalam as well. There's no other real commercial reason per se. So this film became an all-Indian film because it's about an all-Indian man.
Yeah, it's being released in almost all the South Indian languages and also in Hindi. So of course, yes, it's more like an Indian film, not just the Telugu film.
Yes, absolutely. And we also, of course, we shot it in Hindi as well. Proper, every shot in Hindi, shot in Telugu. And we were very careful in how we are dubbing it into Malayalam. We don't want it to just be a dubbing film. We picked lines that carefully fit the words, that carefully fit the lips. It's so important that we do justice to Major Sandeep's life story.
Yeah, that's, I think, one drawback we still face, when coming to dubbing movies. Most of the movies, I'm pretty sure that there are Malayalam movies that you must have watched in Telugu. You're like, somehow the dialogue doesn't match the person's lip syncing.
These days, I've only been watching Malayalam films in Malayalam. Like it's so amazing.
I was just about to get to that point. So, when did you meet Major Sandeep's parents, and how was that? How did you convey this message that you want to make this into a movie?
December of 2018 is when the journey started.
10 years. Wow.
Actually, no. September of 2018. My mistake. Because November of 2018, I was at the 10-year memorial with Uncle and Auntie.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So it was September of 2018. And we just, it just kept going from there. And I don't think I've ever felt distant from them since. It's so interesting because they will sometimes forget and speak to me in Malayalam, and it's beautiful. And I will understand a little. And Uncle speaks a little bit of Telugu, so it's a nice way of communicating.
Combination of languages happening there.
Yeah. But the truth is, I really enjoyed dressing in a traditional Kerala wedding attire and doing the traditional sequences in the film. So that was really interesting. And I found those so much more interesting than my own family's wedding attires. So.
I think by now we can try and find out. I think Major Sandeep's parents will be interested in finding out a very typical Mallu girl for you. So
I say this with no irony. I do think the most beautiful women in India probably come from Kerala. I mean that with God's honest truth. Yeah.
I hope that includes me also.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you been to Kerala before this situation, before you had to meet his parents?
His parents live in Bangalore, actually. I grew up in San Francisco, actually. So I hadn't been in India for most of my life. So, Kerala, Karnataka, all of it was very new in my research for the film. But, what I can say is I got such an idea of his life from his parents, his countless hours. We also spoke to his friends, his superior officers. He was a training officer in the National Security Guard. So we also spoke to people who were his students. So just for people who are not in the army and people who don't understand it, the 51 Special Action Group in the NSG is the army unit of the National Security Guard. And in that, he was a training officer. So in the most decorated thing in the Indian Defense Forces, he was an officer who was training other officers.
Wow.
That's how good he was at his job.
Wow, that's a really big post. I mean, it's not just a really big designation to hold.
Yeah, and serious skill, the way they shoot, the way they move. They can directly breathe in tear gas. Like that is how
Did you
trained they are.
for your shoot?
I tried. I decided I'll use regular smoke instead of tear gas.
You smoked that and you were almost in tears.
Yeah, you know what's funny? When we were in Manesar, which is the National Security Guard home base, when we went there, they took us into this room, and I couldn't go in. My eyes started burning, and they said, 17 hours ago we had tear gas in here. 17 hours ago.
17 hours ago.
Yeah, but they actually put it in your face as part of the training. That's how crazy it is.
I'm sure you must have gone through a little bit of training for this movie, right?
Oh, a lot. See, I am left-handed by nature, and Major Sandeep is right-handed. All my action films and everything I'd done in Indian film everything was like this. I moved. I always put my left leg forward, and I realized that none of that is any good. I have to start afresh. I have to be right-handed. I have to fire a gun with my right hand. I have to punch with my right hand. I have to move. When Major Sandeep stands, he stands with his feet apart.
Okay.
So very upright. And I had to change everything from my voice to the way I stand, the way I move, the way I hold things, the way I fire, the way I fight, my weight.
Okay. How many kilos you had to go down?
I was 88 before we started the film. I had to come down to 78, then 75, then back to 78, then 81, then 79. So because I'm playing different ages of his life.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yes.
I had to do that.
2.5 years of this movie, right?
Yeah, I know that they shoot films a lot faster there. But,
We have made movies made in 20 days here.
No, I'd love to be part of those as well. But this film needed it. Right when we were getting into shooting, COVID first wave happened. We need to shoot in Indian Army locations. We need to shoot in Kashmir. We need to shoot in Bombay at Gateway of India.
Okay.
So this in front of the Taj. Then we had to build 8 sets. And 4 of them are for the Taj. You have to blast them. So it was huge. It's a very, very big film. And you're also doing a period. You're doing 70s, 80s, 90s. So it's a very, very big.
That goes into it.
Yeah. So it needed that time.
Okay. Since you said you would love to be a part of, Malayalam movies, which was the very first Malayalam movie you watched? Like the very first, you've never watched the movie before that, the very first movie.
The very first Malayalam film, I can't remember the first Malayalam film I saw, but I can tell you like 7 I saw in the last 6 months. I've loved Kumbalangi Nights.
Okay.
I've seen both Drishyams. I've seen Bangalore Days, obviously. Everyone's seen that. Obviously saw Premam. I am trying to catch a show, Bhishma Parvam, but it's not playing in Hyderabad. So I loved it. The trailer was fantastic. That was really cool. Obviously, Kurup, my co-star from Major, Shobita is in Kurup. Yeah. And Dulkar's a friend. He was very kind. He launched the Major song Pon Malare in Malayalam. Driving license, Ayyappanam Koshiyum, you name it. I've seen so many films. Yeah.
10. Wow, I'm pretty proud of you.
Yeah. All that's only in the last 6-7 months. Before that, I'd seen a lot more.
Since you mentioned Bhishma Parvam in a very special way, which is your favorite? Very fast. Mohanlal or Mammootty?
Mammootty.
And even then you didn't watch Bhishma Parvam? Are you serious?
I couldn't. It's not playing in theaters in Hyderabad. That's why.
It's okay. It's there on OTT platform also. You can watch.
Oh, I didn't know it came on OTT because I just saw it was theaters. It was a huge hit, so I want to watch it in theaters. So hopefully,
yes. Since you are a Mammootty fan, you should definitely watch it.
I think it's so strange. The first time I saw him was in a Tamil film, right? In Dalapati. I liked him so much in that film because he's essentially playing Duryodhana, right? He was brilliant in that, and that's how I think I started. And he recently did a straight Telugu film, Yatra, which he was fantastic in, and he spoke straight Telugu, which was amazing. So
amazing actor. Have you met? Oh, since Dulkar is a friend, have you met Mammootty in person?
No, I haven't. No, not yet. I will hopefully when I'm coming to Kerala 2-3 times before the film, so I'll meet you, of course. But of course, I'll meet Mammootty.
I would really wish to meet you in person because, like you, I'm also a left-handed person.
Okay. High five.
So if you had to get okay, let's say Mamuka offers you a role in his movie, are you going to drop the big film that comes your way and do that?
I'd love to. I wouldn't drop anything, but I'd love to. I'd love to maybe do a special cameo, play the Telugu guy who came to Kerala or something.
We have that, we had the trend in Kerala where we used to Telugu guys come in Malayalam movies as villains.
Yeah, or I could be the NRI bridegroom.
Yeah, that's another thing. This villain will have a very angelic face. So, people will actually fall in love with the villain only.
Yes, thank you.
When I researched about you, a lot of situations, a lot of videos, a lot of people were talking about, is he the eligible bachelor in Telugu? Are you the eligible bachelor in Telugu or are you committed?
Well, I mean, I am, I'm not married. Not looking to get married anytime soon. But, I do have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. So I'm single, but not eligible. Does that count?
No, it's okay. Your face makes it count. Doesn't matter.
All right, thank you. All right, you can see my ad on bharatmatrimony.com. I'm just kidding.
You will have so many proposals coming all the way from Kerala.
Yeah.
So, which is your favorite? Have you traveled across Kerala?
No, I haven't traveled. I've been a couple of times, but I haven't really fully traveled. I want to go to those famous falls in Alappuzha and, yes, once, but for half a day. I don't know if that counts.
It's okay. Did you try the biryani there?
See, I'm vegetarian. So there's not most of the amazing food all over South India I can't have. I can't even have Hyderabadi biryani.
You come all the way to Kozhikode and you missed out. Kozhikode people are so hospitable. When you go to their house, the table will be full of so many food. You'll be like,
I truly know this because whenever I go to uncle and auntie's house, they'll have a full spread ready for me. And I know that Major Sandeep's favorite food was sardines, the fish sardines. And he loved that. He loved that fry but the thing is,
how did you do the movie? Is there a scene in the movie where you're eating it?
Thankfully, there's no scene in the film where I'm eating. And if there was, I would probably make tofu sardines and have it.
If Mallus hear this, if Malayalis understand that you're trying to make sardines with tofu, that's not going to be good for you.
It's acting after all. It's acting. Also, I'm going to. I'm hoping to go to Kerala Part 2. I'm going to go to the Gulf on major promotions as well. I'll be meeting another Malayalam homeland as well. So,
majority people you see there will be will somebody or the other. Every third person you meet will be a Malayalam. Don't worry.
Yes.
And every third person will for sure remember Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan also, because when this situation came out, I think all of us were here in Kerala. He was one of the most celebrated army men at that point of time. Even now, when you talk about,
he's become. It might be strange for people to hear, but he's sort of like the freedom fighter of today, of our generation. When we were kids, we read about Bhagat Singh, about Subhash Chandra Bose, Shekhar Azad. So there's a famous school in Hyderabad called Chirek. The children have a chapter on Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan.
Wow.
So it's the same thing, right? In 20 years, he becomes our Bhagat Singh.
Exactly.
So he's the freedom fighter of our generation.
Okay, since you said you're a vegetarian, have you had a proper Kerala Sadhya?
I have. In fact, at their house.
Anyways, can you do you know how to speak in Malayalam? Do you understand?
Only from the films. I don't think I speak it very well. I tried dubbing it for our film, but it is so intricate and there's so much Sanskrit in Malayalam that I kind of struggled. They could tell I need to sound like him, no? So I decided not to disrespect him and someone else dub for me. But I understand some of it for sure.
Tell me one sentence that It's very easy for you to say. Like,
How about you tell me to say it and I'll say it.
okay, so I'll talk to you in Malayalam, okay? And
Don't
then
say
you
too complicated. Don't say too complicated. On purpose, you know.
Sugano.
Sugana.
Bhakshan കഴിച്ചോ? ഇന്ന് ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചോ?
Okay, say that again.
ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചോ?
Bakshi Gedicho. You can't do this. You can't embarrass me.
Okay, I will tell you one dialogue, okay? And you have to say it.
I might have an angelic face, but I don't have angelic pronunciation. So you can't.
Very easy. And this is a very famous Malayalam dialogue also.
Okay. Done.
Po mone Dinesha.
Po Mone?
Po mone Dinesha.
Okay, are you making fun of me? Po Mone Dinesha.
This is Lalita's very famous dialogue. We say that to people and like, hey, chal, hadiya se. That kind of thing.
Po Mone Dinesha.
No, don't tell that to me.
Okay. So if you make me say more dialogues, I'll say that to you.
Okay. Why don't we wish the Malayali subscribers happy Vishu in Malayalam?
Okay, how do I say happy? I know I've wished plenty of people, all my Malayalam friends, a happy Vishu, but I've never said it in Malayalam.
Let's try doing that in Malayalam this time.
Okay, done, ready.
എല്ലാവർക്കും എന്റെ ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ വിഷു ആശംസകൾ.
Oh, bloody hell. I would like to wish everyone in Kerala and all Malayalam speaking people across the world a happy Vishu.
I won't do this to you anymore. Don't worry, I will not do that to you. But even then, as much as you spoke, not bad for a Telugu actor, you still have it.
Yeah,
but see,
I mean,
Telugu, Kannada and Tamil, Malayalam is not very different and all. If you know a little bit of Tamil, you can understand Kannada and Telugu. It's the same way. If you understand Tamil, you can understand a little bit of Malayalam also.
You know what's strange? Because I'm Telugu, I can read Kannada, but I can understand Malayalam better. Because Telugu and Malayalam, out of the South Indian languages, Telugu and Malayalam have more Sanskrit. So I can understand a lot of words based on that.
So I'm pretty sure when Achan and Amma, I mean, their parents, I'm sorry, I don't know, just naturally came out from me as Achan and Amma. What do you call them? Uncle and auntie?
I call auntie and Amma only.
So does she speak to you in Malayalam? I mean,
sometimes she'll forget and she'll say something to me in Malayalam, but it's so interesting. Auntie always speaks to me in Hindi. It's the most interesting thing. Sandhya, Major Sandeep's cousin and sister, she will always speak to me in English. Uncle speaks to me English, Telugu, Hindi. And whenever they forget, they'll speak in Malayalam. I'll understand it. And then I will respond back in English or Hindi or Telugu. And then they will respond back to me. That's how it happens.
Did they watch the movie? I'm pretty sure they watched the movie, right?
They watched several scenes. I'm going to show them the complete film soon.
It's not very easy to sit next to a parent who actually lost their child and watch the movie. I mean, are you nervous about?
I used to be, but something. I realized something once I saw the complete film. I realized that and we've been saying it, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to realize it on your own. Also, it's not about how he died; it's about how he lived. So, Major is a very hopeful film. It's got a lot of action, a lot of love, his family moments. So it made me feel very hopeful. It made me want to do something for India after I saw the film. I know we wrote it and we made it, but it's been a while since I saw the film. I just saw some glimpses. And then once I was shown the film, I realized, so I am now not nervous about showing it to Uncle and Auntie. I'm excited about it because, we're so excited to show some of his many feelings in the film, how he loved animals. I mean, there's stories, if we put it in a movie, people will say it's too fake. That's how extraordinary those stories are. Like there was once where he took Uncle and Auntie with him on a midnight run. He needed to eat something. Everything was closed. He was looking for the right bun from the right Bangalore Iyengar bakery. And he was looking for it and he was looking for it and he was looking for it. Finally, at 1 a.m, he finds one place that's open. He's about to eat the bun and then he sees a hungry dog and her puppies. So he gives off the bun to the dog. So these kind of stories are everyday life.
Yeah.
And they're also very relevant to him. He taught his father English. He taught his father how to ride a bike. So when we say these things, when you put them in a movie, people think it's bhajan, like, what are you doing? But the truth is that he lived such an extraordinary life. And that is so bright. He's Surya Putra. He's like Karna. He's like Surya Putra.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm so excited to show everyone the film, because it's a fantastic entertainer, because that's the kind of bright life he lived.
Which was the most interesting, difficult scene for you to shoot in this? Like emotionally, physically, you were like, I just want to get over with this scene, but I want to do it right.
The climax, in many ways, it really took it out of me. um, I get very afraid to see the climax, but I think we did something right. Something gold came out there.
I can see your tone suddenly changed when I asked that.
Yeah. This film, it's so interesting because this film is personal.
Yes,
This film
I
is very,
get
very
what.
personal. And I by the time I've gotten done with the film, I've basically told uncle and auntie that I can never be him, but I can always be your second son. You know? So that is where we are.
Wow, that's just really emotional to hear, actually. To have that kind of, a lot of the times, not a lot of people would be very happy to have very tragic story, or even the good parts of that tragic story to be shown onto the screen. So when you see,
I think it's essentially because we realized his life is not a tragedy. it is. It was a really happening life, and he was super young, and he loved action movies. He'd watch Schwarzenegger movies. He was just like really cool. He was called Sandy by his friends, and he was a heartbreaker and lady killer in school. So
yeah,
he
yeah,
had, you
character
know.
suits you very well.
So I mean, he was like like lightning in the bottle. Yeah.
The picture behind and looking at you, it just looks so similar. It just, yeah, right
Well, I mean,
now, just turn to the side, perfect.
that is me technically, because it's a
Yeah,
poster of the
but then
film.
the other, no, I'm talking about when you look at you'll remember his photo and you see this, it just looks same. Like it just does.
That blessing I got from auntie. Amma said that, I remember her words. She said, "Dur se Sandeep lag raha hai." She actually said that to me.
Yeah.
So she said that. I think that is when I knew that we had their blessing.
This is it. This is the sign from the universe to do this movie.
Yeah. In fact, that meant more to me than, for films, there's always a clap, there's a puja, there is a contract signing, all these. Okay. But when auntie said that, that was when we knew the film started.
Yeah, so we are waiting for the movie to be releasing on May 27th, right?
May 27th, major releases worldwide in Malayalam, Telugu, and Hindi. It will release in a big way in Kerala. We will be there twice or thrice. In fact, we're planning on being there for Mother's Day, which is May 8th. So I look forward to seeing many of Major Sandeep's fans and some of the people who've loved my cinema as well.
Thank you so much, Adivi. Thank you so much for actually making some time for my show today. All the best, and hope we meet when you actually come down together.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I hope you meet me too. Right.
Okay. Appam
Good talk.
povale.
Yeah, I understood that.
Anyways, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
രോഗത്തെ അറിയുന്ന ഡോക്ടറാകാൻ നിങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറാണോ? ഉടൻ തന്നെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യൂ ശാന്തിഗിരി മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജ്.
എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗുകാർക്ക് എൻട്രിയിൽ ടെക്നിക്കൽ കോഴ്സുകളുമുണ്ട്.